C.S. Lewis wrote the series, The Chronicles of Narnia. And in one of those, the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, one of the cousins of one of the main characters comes along. His name is Eustace. And he represents all of us. In that story, we all kind of represent him. And in that, he's useless. He's really as annoying an annoying character. Often we are the same. And C.S. Lewis is kind of poking fun at all of us through the use of Eustace, the character. Eustace gets separated from the group and he's off on this island and he finds a dragon's treasure. And he is in the cave thinking dragonish thoughts, thinking dragonish desires around the wealth. Then he puts on a ring that he finds there in the treasure hoard and he falls asleep and he wakes up and he becomes a dragon. There's actually a curse on this treasure and he has become a dragon himself. And it's an amazing perspective to think about as he goes and he has kind of a coming to himself, a maturity that he goes through to become a much better version of himself by the end. Anyway, he gets tired of being a dragon. The ring on his arm is causing him pain. He's just sick and tired of being a dragon. And so Aslan is the one that is going to heal him and help him return to be a child again. And so he says, well, we need to take off the dragon scales. And so Eustace kind of rubs and scratches at himself and tries to remove some and does some preliminary work and removes a little bit of scales, but it's not good enough. And Aslan tells him, well, you got to do it again. You got to keep getting the dragon scales off. So he does a little bit more and shaking off and trying to rub off the dragon scales, and it's still just not good enough. And he asks finally for some help, saying, I'm going to need some help to get these dragon scales off. Can you help me? And Aslan is a lion. And he takes his lion claws and he tears that dragon skin. And it hurts. It goes deep. But that's the only way to get the dragon off of Eustace. And in that process, that painful process, he is able to let go of the dragon scales, let go of those conditions that he finds himself in, and he miraculously returns to being a boy again. What does this have to do with anything? What I usually talk about. Well, it's a great story, so go read it. I'm not doing it justice, so go read the book. The movie was fun, but the book is even better. But think about it yourself. Where do we have dragon scales on our life? Where do we find ourselves having dragonish thoughts and dragonish actions? And sometimes with finances, we have that. I want to build my dragon's hoard. I'm in the phase of getting and accumulating, and I want, and give me this car, and give me that activity, and give me this experience, and give me that travel. And then we're in this habit of building up our dragon hoard, and we sit on it, on that pile of dragonish treasure, thinking dragonish thoughts, and we turn into a dragon. And sometimes later on in life, we realize this thing is not really working for me. I need to make some changes. And so we try to dust off the debt. We try to dust off the desires for those things that we can't really afford. And we make some preliminary efforts, and we might make some progress. But we're still a dragon. We still have those scales. We still have that debt. I have many clients that have paid off debt and they're back into it. And they get out and they get back into it. And it's this yo-yo. It's the yo-yo diet version of finances. Because inside, we're still a dragon. Inside, we still are okay with debt. We're still very comfortable with it. So it's not that bad, right? I'm just gonna kind of brush off the worst parts of it. But inside, we still have a dragon heart. And sometimes we need an Aslan in our life to cut us to the core. And sometimes life has a way of knocking us upside the head and giving us an experience that we say, I cannot, this is unsustainable. There's no way I'm going to survive this experience. So we need that Aslan to tear us to the bone, to say, if you want to break free of those dragon habits, you got to take it out from the core, from the DNA, the way we think, the way we feel, the way we act. We got to stop being a dragon, and we have got to rip these scales off of ourselves so that we can be free from debt, free from stress, free from the world. that thinks and tries to convince us that material possessions is the sign of success and wealth. But inside we know it's an empty, hollow treasure hoard that's not going to be there, not going to sustain me. So I need some lasting peace. I need some lasting change. So you might need to get some help. If you can tear off those dragon scales yourself, more power to you. If you can't, get a help. Get somebody to help you, to help you to root out those dragon thoughts, dragon ideas, dragon scales, dragon behaviors, and you can have it again. Just like Eustace returned to being a child, he was a much better person on the backside of that experience. Having gone through that, he was a changed person. You and I, thank goodness, we can change as well. And if we can do it on our own, great. I always say, if you don't need help, prove it. If you need help, get it. So make sure that you're getting the help that you need, doing the things that you need, the mindsets, the habits, the behaviors, so that you can have a different future and leave the dragon scales behind.